I always love giving myself a drum roll. And the drum roll, please. Good morning. Happy Friday. Oh boy, I can't believe it's Friday. These weeks are flying by. My name is Karen Stacy, and you are tuned into Coffee Talk with Karen. We had a little bit of a change in schedule. This was supposed to be Coffee Talk with Karen and Anthony. And unfortunately, Anthony is unable to tune in today due to a family emergency. So we want to send him much love and light. And hopefully we will be rescheduling for the next show. So I'm going to say that I am ill prepared. So I'm going to wing this one because, I had my topic and obviously I was discussing that it was supposed to be, between, what men think and what women think. And I certainly cannot, do a what men think and women think when I'm the woman and I'm thinking. So, I need a counterpart for that. But that's going to be a fun thing. I'm really looking forward to having Anthony as a co-host because it's different perspectives and he has a pretty strong personality and strong beliefs, as do I. So it should be very interesting. Good morning. I see you, Orlando. Good morning. We are live on Podbean. So if you want to be live and interact with us, what you're going to do is you're going to download the Podbean app. You're going to go to realtalkwithkarenstacy.podbean.com. You hit that follow button. It's a free app. And then you can interact live and I can see your comments. If you are not one to do that and want to listen on the replay, you can always listen to the replay on any of your favorite podcast platforms. So if you are listening and you're able to share this with a friend that you think might enjoy it, that would be wonderful. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I think that I am going to, I want to share this actually with everybody. And see if people will jump on. So I think today what I want to talk about, since I'm kind of meg shifting onto topics, since again, my topic was not, is in vain at the moment. I wanted to talk about gratitude. And I think it's a good topic. I know that Orlando, let's take Jennifer because I know she would appreciate this as well. I think that when I saw a post today and it resonated with me and it was talking about how you don't realize how important something is until it becomes important, meaning, we take for granted every day. Well, some of us take for granted every day, waking up and having the ability to start a new day. And there are people that are faced with a lot of trials and tribulations, and it is challenging to get up every day, right? And I think health is a huge aspect of this. And in this post that I read, it said, you don't realize, you're not grateful, you're not thankful until you're in a situation where you no longer have this blessing, I guess would be the right word to say, right? Because, life isn't easy, right? Let's call it what it is. There's always going to be something. Something is always going to weigh you down. Something is always going to trouble you. Something is always going to go wrong. It's life, right? That said, we could, flip that because something is always going to lift you up. Something is always going to go right. And there is always something to look forward to, right? So it's challenging to maintain that view when you're looking through certain glasses because you have no other vision other than what is in front of you. And it's very, very challenging to stay the course and to learn to be grateful when you feel like you have nothing to be grateful for. So one of my best friends is a healer. And I said to her, I feel so stuck. Like I'm doing everything I possibly can to try to pull out of this place. But every time it's like the God, every time I try to get out, they pull me back. And it's so true. So she said to me, well, you need to, practice more gratitude. So I have tried to do that in the past, but I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really sure what that meant. Obviously I know what it meant, but I didn't know what it meant in terms of practicing it. I don't know if anybody here listening knows what practicing gratitude means. But she was explaining to me that you have to state what you're grateful for. And there are times in our lives where we're scrambling, right? Like, well, what the hell do I have to be grateful for? And it's finding those things that will help you look at life differently. So I'll give you an example. So she said, whatever it is, state that you're grateful for it. So it could be something as simple as, I'm grateful the sun is shining today. I'm grateful I opened up my eyes today. I am grateful that I'm blessed to have another day. There are things that you can find that you can be grateful for. And again, I recognize that we're all in different places. And there are some people that are really in horrific situations. And finding gratitude in these situations can be extremely challenging. And when you feel your worst, is when you have to dig deep to be grateful, right? And so how the hell do you do that? How am I grateful for this crappy hand that I was dealt? So you have to kind of dissect it, right? And you have to say to yourself, well, you were dealt a hand to begin with, right? So what are you going to do with that? How are you going to play those cards? And it's really challenging to be grateful. Yes, Orlando, you said thankful. It's really challenging to be grateful when you are going through hard times. And so I started myself, and there are days that I do find that I'm like, and I'm trying to find what I'm grateful for, right? And then I feel ungrateful for not being grateful, right? So, but that's the truth. And so sometimes, I'll give you an example. Last week, actually the day I do another show called Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda, and it's on Wednesday nights, to be announced. And I was trying to get in my right head because, before you do a show and stuff, you kind of have to get in the right head. And I'm getting in my head and I'm trying to, gain my thoughts and plan out the show and where I'm going to go with it. And it was 20 to 8 and my son comes downstairs and looks at me, has his phone in his hand and has this look on his face. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, yeah, got a minute? And I was like, of course. So he starts telling me about, some, high school drama crap that was going on. Right. And I'm like, and it aggravated me because my son was being pulled into something that really had nothing to do with him, and he was internalizing it, yada, 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 right? But this is what happens, and we're teenagers, and we do these things, and we emote, and everything is the end of the world, and, that's why we call it high school bullshit, right? So I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, and I see him and he is distraught. And like, he knows that unfortunately he has a little bit of a time restraint because, I got to do my show. And then of course I got to regroup because now I got to, finish those thoughts and regroup to go into my other thoughts, because that was the topic that day. Was we've been doing the Mel Robbins let them theory. So I had to get in a different, mindset, if you will. And, after we did the show and everything, and in the morning is when I try, when, like, if I'm in the shower, I say my, prayers, if you will, and, all of that. And then I try to do my gratitude. And, my girlfriend had recommended trying to do it like 5 times a day, which, is certainly a lot. But if you think about it, if you're doing something 5 times a day, you're certainly changing your energy by doing so. So that what I was grateful for, one of the things that I stated was I was grateful that my son talked to me, that he was that was the first thing that he did, was that he talked to me, and I was grateful that I was able to help him. And so when I was telling him about trying to, have gratitude and trying to think differently, I said to him, I'll give you an example. I am grateful that you wanted to talk to me, that you came down and shared this with me. And although it was certainly, it's, I don't want to use the word upsetting, but when your children or anybody is going through something, right, you feel for them. And so my son said to me, Mom, I didn't think I could like you anymore. And, and I do. And so it was like that day I was grateful because my son came and, felt comfortable enough to talk to me about something. I mean, not that he doesn't, but, and then my dad had reached out to me, and my dad had told me that he had gotten blood work back and that his blood work was good. And so there's another amazing thing to be grateful for. There are a lot of things to be grateful for in the world, but obviously, zeroing in on them while there's all this noise in your head can be quite challenging. So I'm going to read a comment here. Gratitude can transform common days into thankful, turn routine jobs into and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. Yes, exactly right. And so, my point to this is keeping that in mind. And again, it's challenging because when you're having a day, like some days, like the other day, I just like was ready to like kill people. I was so, everything was going in a direction where I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Right? And then you got to like catch it and go, okay, let me take a deep breath. Let me regroup. It's not that bad. I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to try to change the energy. Because do you ever notice how when one bad thing happens, especially like, let's say in the morning, your day seems to catapult into one of those days? So we don't want that. We don't want it to become a snowball effect, but energy is powerful. So when we have these, dreadful moments, or these hindering moments, I should say, right? Because that's not really dreadful. But, when everything starts to happen and you're just like, Are you kidding me? And what's the next thing we say? All right, what else? What else is going to happen? So when we say what else is going to happen, that's what we're putting in the universe. So we have now commanded more bad energy to follow us. So we don't want to do that, right? We want to change the energy. So that's when trying to practice gratitude helps. And when you are in the thick of it and everything is going wrong, and especially, I know for me personally, coffee, right? We're doing coffee talk right now. My coffee is a big deal to me. I'm not one of those people that drinks coffee all day long. I'm one of those people that has my cup of coffee, and I'm really specific about my coffee. I do actually, some people, I may lose you now, but I drink mushroom coffee with the adaptives and all those kind of things. And I know I never say that word correctly. But my coffee is very important to me. And I was trying, and I do my coffee with almond milk that I froth. Now, it's very challenging when your coffee does not come out right. So, or what about you get your coffee, it doesn't taste right, or it's not hitting the spot. Usually if you're a coffee drinker, that first sip, you get that feeling and you're like, yes. And you're happy, right? And let's just say for argument's sake, something happens, right? And you have, or you drop your coffee, right? How sometimes, especially if you get it on the go, right? And you get it from someplace, you grab a cup of coffee and you try to put that stupid top on. That stupid top wasn't on right. You take a sip, either it spills all over you, the top comes off, it's all over your clothes, or you burned your mouth, or whatever it is, right? And that's like, oh, great. This is the way I'm starting my day, right? And that's in your head already. So now you've already put the oogada boogada on the rest of your day now, because that's how oh, great. This is, my day, great. This is how I started my day. And if you carry that energy, then that is the way the rest of your day is going to pan out. So you have to say to yourself, okay, let me try this again. And either you buy another cup of coffee, you make another cup of coffee, or you put the freaking coffee down and you drink a glass of water. But it's the energy, right? So even that, right? That's something to be grateful for. When you make your coffee, you take that first sip of coffee and you're like, and you got the feeling, and you're like, you know what? This is going to be a good day. I love my coffee. And you're starting off your day from a good point. So, you have to be mindful that the energy that you're putting out is the energy that is going to come back to you. And I know sometimes when I do shows like this, I grab people, and other times I lose people. But that's okay, because whoever it is that's listening, this may resonate with, and it may help somebody look at things from different eyes, which is always what I try to do. My perspective on things is always to look at it from a different angle, because honestly, when we are so far underneath something, it's very challenging to see things differently. I had to take a sip. I actually finished my coffee already, so that was a sip of water. But thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen. We are live on Podbean. It's realtalkwithkarenstacy.podbean.com. And you can just hit that follow button, hit that like button, and you will be notified whenever we go live. Again, we segued to a different topic today. It was supposed to be Coffee Talk with Karen and Anthony. And unfortunately, Anthony had a family emergency and was unable to join us today, but we look forward to it the next time. And so today I chose to talk about gratitude and doing our best to be grateful. And again, recognizing that it is not easy. It is not always easy to do. So you have to really dig deep. And even if you start off with only one thing that you're grateful for, I guarantee you, if you dig deep down, you will find more things to be grateful for. The funny thing is that I think that so many of us live such complex lives that we don't even realize what's right in front of us, meaning what we're grateful for. Because you know what? Some people don't even, they're homeless. Some people don't even have a roof over their head. Meanwhile, we may be complaining about the roof we have over our head. Now, is it, maybe our roof is falling. Maybe our roof isn't, doing so well. Maybe we don't live in the place we really wanted to live in. But you know what? We still have a roof, right? And so, we have to be grateful for that. If maybe you're not in the best shape of your life, and maybe you're not grateful for your body because maybe you feel like it's failing you, but it's there and it's helping you get through your world. And if there's something that you don't like about it, you have the ability to change it. And, baby steps. So, if you feel like you're not in the best shape and, of your life, then, be grateful for the opportunity to get in the best shape of your life and put that out there into the universe and understand that you can accomplish that. But you can't do it if you're beating yourself up all the time. So be grateful that you have an opportunity to make yourself better. Do not think about the fact that you don't look the way you want to look. Think about the fact of what you want to look like. And they're baby steps. And if a lot of times, we really don't know how. And so I love when I speak to people, and I love, and people are doing it a lot more lately. I've noticed either I'm paying attention more, or it is just happening more. And maybe the people I am around are more keen to it. But I've noticed that a lot of people do talk about things, and then they'll say, for example, and they'll actually give you an example of how. And I really love that because, that's the key to most things in life, is that we know we want something. We know maybe we want to do something. But how? How do we do it? How do you obtain that? So you watch people, right? And you try to figure out what they're doing and see if maybe you can mimic that or model after it. But when somebody gives you an example, that's amazing. And that's where it comes from too, right? Lead by example. So people are not, if I'm telling you to be grateful and have gratitude, and yet I don't live a life where I'm gracious and I'm grateful, then, I'm not leading by example. So it's really like you have to watch, learn, and listen, if you will, and see the examples. My dog is growling here. We got somebody else. I got a co-host after all. See, the dog's barking. And so I just think that practicing gratitude is a really great place to start. And I know personally I've been implementing it, and I've been trying to do it because we get lost in, me and my friends call it the muck. You get lost in the muck and it pulls you in. And the only way to get out of that is to pull yourself out of it. And the only way to pull yourself out of it is to recognize that you're there. So if you are struggling to be grateful, if you are struggling to have gratitude, then that means you're probably in the muck. So I want you to try and find 3 things that you are grateful for. And you know what? If you can't find 3 things, find 1 and do it 3 times in a day. Try it. Like I said to you, I gave you guys different examples earlier. I'm grateful that, my father's blood work came back good. I'm grateful that my son felt that he could talk to me about the high school BS drama that was going on. I am grateful that the sun is shining today. It could be something that simple. And if you learn to look at things through different lenses and be more grateful, which in turn leads to more light, then you can kind of change your trajectory. So it's not easy to do, and I struggle. I'm being, real talk right now. I struggle. It's not easy, but it's something that you have to practice. And if you do it every day, you will then learn and it will become a part of you. So every morning when you have your coffee, you can sit down, and whether it's one thing, two things, three things, you're going to state what you are grateful for. And you're going to breathe that in. You're going to live it. You're going to embrace it. And you're going to set that tone, and it will permeate through. And this way you will start to learn how to think differently, how to be positive, because when we're stuck in the muck, you do not see any light. You are stuck and you are grasping. You're trying, some of us are desperately trying to get out of the muck. And some of us have learned how to be comfortable in the muck. So you have to decide whether or not you want to live there. And then if you don't want to live there, you have to take baby steps to try to get out, because no one is coming to save you. And, I posted something about that the other day. Mel Robbins did a reel, and that really that hits hard, because it's true. No one is going to save you. So if you are stuck in the muck, then try this one little thing and try to practice gratitude. Try to be grateful for something, anything, and run with that ball. And like I said before, whether it's one thing you can state that you're grateful for, two things, three things, whatever it is. If it's one thing and that's all you can find because you're so far in the muck, then state that one thing and put it in the universe. And then do it again at lunchtime and do it again at dinner time. You can find one thing. Coffee and gratitude, staying grateful with every sip. There you go. I like that, Orlando. That's a good, that's good. And it's true. I always live by that meme, right? It says, I'm grateful for, coffee and wine. And it's trying to figure out, at what point in the day do we stop drinking coffee and start drinking wine? But yes, I know I screwed that up, but it's something to that effect. And it is very true. But thank you, Orlando, for being here. Anybody that is on, you're welcome to say hello and chime in. I love doing interactive shows because I love getting other perspectives from people. And listen, I can talk to myself all day. It's all good. But I do like to get that interaction from the audience, because we're all going through this. And, I am Real Talk Karen Stacy, so I keep it real. This is Coffee Talk, and we're just drinking some coffee and shooting the shit and trying to, thank you, Orlando, trying to just make a little bit of a difference. And that's really all it takes, because the truth of the matter is that I have learned that even if it's one person that you make a difference for in a day, that one person is a very special person. So that means that you've made a difference. So again, another reason I am grateful is I am grateful to be able to make a difference. I am grateful to help people know that they're not alone, and maybe to help people find a better way or look at things differently so that they don't feel so stuck. So, to reiterate, I'm probably going to jump off. This is a quick show today. And again, we will be back, and Anthony will be joining me. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency. And I always try to discuss the things that people don't like to discuss. And some of my shows are very funny, and some of my shows are very deep. I am a deep person, so I go there because, don't get me wrong, we all need to laugh, but we also all need to kind of go there, and we need to talk about that pink elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. And I am the woman that rides the pink elephant. Let that be known. So, again, to recap, if you are in the muck, try and practice gratitude, because the only way to get out is to slowly but surely move that muck so you can see the light. So if you can, practice gratitude. Say it out loud. You can write it down. You can say it out loud. Well, write it down first and then say it out loud. And find one thing you are grateful for, and do that a couple of times a day, and see if you don't change the energy and your trajectory. So I want to say thank you for those of you that tuned in. Again, you can download the free app, and it's Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com to listen live and interact. And if not, you can tune into the replay on any of your favorite podcast stations. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. And remember, tomorrow isn't promised. Don't be an asshole today. And, like I always say, never give up. We live on hope, gratitude, and love. It's the greatest things that we can have and give. So be grateful, and remember that you never know what someone else is going through. So be kind today, and don't forget to practice being grateful. I'll see you.